Coach, kind of getting into the short rows of spring. How's how was were you pleased with today's practice?
I was, Lanny. I think we certainly we're growing in some things that we're doing. So I think there's a lot more. We've installed a lot more, so that's been good. And I think our guys have had real good retention. I thought Tez had a good day today. I thought he really did some good things. So excited about that.
Kind of along those same lines, are you about where you hoped you'd be at this point in the spring?
I think so, Lanny. I think I think we've put a lot in. I think our guys have had good retention. I think we've grown in a few areas, but it's a never-going journey, and that's just coach talk, but it's real talk. We've got to continue to grow, and that's just part of the journey, and keep going on to get through a spring, keep growing through the summer conditioning, and we have a lot of battles that will still be up for grabs in summertime that probably won't be finalized after spring. So that's a good thing because we're creating competition.
Coach, when you talked about earlier in the season about when the pads come on, you start to see some guys elevate. Have you started to see that at all? Not saying solidified, but
I have. I think we've seen. I think there's been some young linemen, offensive linemen that have done some really good things. I think receiver and running back. I think that's where we have some good depth. I've been pleased with that. Quarterback position, that's a fun battle watching Quadre and Keon get after it. I think they were like 83 and 82%, so it's a fun battle to watch. They're competing hard, so that's good competition at that position. Defensively, I really have been pretty pleased with our linebackers assignment-wise. I think that's, again, we got 3 or 4 guys in the competition there. Certainly some of our young safeties have done a good job, and I think Tavares Moore's had an outstanding spring. I think he's a guy that's got tremendous talent, and I've been very pleased with him. So I mean, it's been fun. There's still a lot of competition, a lot of jobs that won't be decided at the end of spring. We'll carry that on in the summer. So I think we'll get a few guys back. We have guys sitting out this spring. Ruff's out, Picasso's out, Trey's out. So it'd be good to get those guys back in the fold too.
Coach, these are 10 practices now. Are there any certainties across the board? Any?
No, I think it's. Again, I think we've gotten bigger up front defensively, and that's been good. It's added some depth there. But I think it's kind of status quo as far as, I think the linebacker position, we thought there'd be some competition there, and I think in the back end at secondary, especially at the safety jobs, we thought there'd be some competition there. So I'm just watching this competition and see who's going to rise to the top and be the starter.
From your first spring to this spring now, how have you seen your coaching philosophy a little different in Southern Miss?
My coaching philosophy never really changes. I'm kind of the same. It probably never will change. I think, it's certainly anything like offensively, our quarterbacks, at Nig, we certainly is an outstanding quarterback. Hopefully he's got a long NFL career ahead of him, but Quadre and Keon are 2 young men that are true dual threat guys, and kind of give you a little bit more of that aspect. But our philosophy is going to be the same always. We're not really going to change that. So, but I thought we fought hard. We got to continue to get better. That's the journey in coaching.
Coach, think a little bit along the line of the offense. Is there anybody that out there that has kind of surprised you this spring, like wow, that guy's better than I thought he was? Or
I think Jordan and Trevor have had good springs and off-season at receiver. Tez, I think, has really had a good spring, Tez Parks. Drake Dorbeck up front, I think, has had a really good spring. Defensively, Rakeem Booth, a young linebacker, shows a lot of promise. So excited about Rakeem, watching him. I think Ladarius has continued, Harris up front has continued to get better and better. Paxton and Allen Fales out wide at the Wolf, I think are 2 young men that are really, I call them Southern Miss football players, just hard-nosed, give you everything they got every single play. So those are 2 guys that kind of, Paxton played a little bit at the end, but I think Allen and those are 2 guys that have been pleasant surprises. know, again, I told you Tavares just had a really good spring. I think he's a guy that certainly got very excited about.
With your experience, Coach, have you
and
seen?
not to mention our two corners, but I think they're two outstanding football players. You know, Curtis and Cornell. I think that's kind of like quarterback was last year. Somebody's going those two guys and Trey. We have three corners that I think really have a world of potential.
With your experience, Coach, have you seen it kind of get a little bit more chippier when it gets closer to the spring game?
It will be when we split them up, black and gold, and they get a chance to, you know, they'll start kind of getting excited on Friday, and that game's always kind of fun. So yeah, it will. You know, if there is a dog days of spring, we're kind of in it now, but yeah, it picks up life toward the spring game for sure.